All right. Yay, we are officially here. Excuse me. Welcome to the free rebirth and alignment ceremony. I know we have some other people that are attempting to come to the live. A lot will be on the recording. Some may be late. So we're just going to go with it and welcome, welcome. So I always like to give you guys a direction of where we're going with this. And today, this one might be a little bit long. I'm going to try to keep it to an hour as well. But I got this download like a week and a half ago. And I was like, I really feel like this is what humanity needs right now. So I'll tell you in a minute, like what we're going to be going through. I was going to say tonight. It's definitely not nighttime. But the whole intention is to rebirth into our new version and to align with our highest timeline and let go of all the shit that is holding us back. And I'll talk more about that in a minute. So in just a second, we'll breathe. We'll set our intentions like usual. I pretty much always do the same kind of flow, so it probably looks familiar. We'll do the teaching portion, a ritual. We'll do a reading if there's time. I'm just trying to move my heating pad because now I'm getting hot. We'll do a little time for sisterhood and chat, and then we'll have a closing prayer. So in just a second, we're going to breathe, but I do want to just share with you like a couple little housekeeping things. I know you already know these things, my friend, but I'm saying this for the sake of everyone else here that hasn't been with me before. So we do have a chat box here if you are on the live. So use the chat box. I'll make it fun and interactive. And like I said, we'll have time at the end for chats. And yeah, all you really need today is a journal. It doesn't have to be a journal. You can literally do it on your computer, on your phone, however you write stuff down, or you can come back later and do the journaling. I said to bring a beverage because since we'll be an hour, you might get thirsty. I'd also love to hear, I know it's just us two right now, and I'm going to try to remember your zodiac sign, but I feel like is it a Pisces? Is that right? I feel like I'm wrong. Oh my gosh, let me know in the chat box. And for all of you guys on the replay, if you're listening to the replay, let me know in the comments below what your zodiac sign is, your sun, moon, and rising. I apologize, Deirdre, for messing yours up. Usually it takes me a couple times to remember people's. Is it a Libra? Is that wrong too? Usually I'm pretty good at guessing people's zodiac signs, but sometimes I just like majorly fuck it up. Sometimes I'll guess it on the first one. Other times just butcher it. Let's see. I think you can also, where the hell did the chat box go? Oh my gosh. Let me maximize this shit. Oh, here it goes. Can you find the chat box still? Okay, cool. You're Scorpio. That's right, because we did it during Scorpio season. Okay, at least I was right the first time that it was a water sign. Both are water signs. Okay. All right, so we're just going to breathe for a second. So closing down your eyes. Place a hand over your heart, hand over your belly. Taking a deep breath in. And out. Oh, I just hit the wall. And I would just invite you to shake it out, make noise, however you feel guided to. And just really feeling your sit bones on the surface that you're on, whether it's your bed, your couch, your floor, the earth. Just feeling really grounded in this present moment, held by Mother Earth. And just feeling this nurturing energy coming in of all the different goddesses. And of course, it's Friday, so it's Venus Day. So I'm feeling the energy of Venus as well. Just seeing this beautiful pink energy of all of the goddesses of Mother Earth pouring in through the top of your head and filling you up with this beautiful, nurturing love and also feminine empowerment. Like knowing you're the fucking shit, knowing you're a badass bitch. Breathing it in, letting it go. And just knowing, I'm getting a message already right now, that you're destined for great things. You're destined for big things. You're here at this time for a reason. You're here on purpose. This is no coincidence that you're here on this call, that you're here on Earth right now, that you have the plans and desires and dreams that you have. None of it is a coincidence. And then just giving yourself like a beautiful little loving hug. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. Okay. Yay. All right. I feel better. So I would love to hear if you have any intentions for the call today. in the chat box or in the comments, or message me if you're listening to the replay. I feel like this is a perfect time to focus on rebirthing into our new version because it's the last month of the year. Yesterday, we literally just had the last full moon of the year. So we're in a big like release time. And yeah, like 2025 is getting close to over. So yeah, share any intentions about what you want to release today. Anything you want to share. And as I'm waiting to hear from you, I will just go ahead and share. Excuse me. I have some intentions for you. I don't think I did this last time. So the reason why I wanted to create this, I kind of already mentioned it in a way, but this year has been a rough year for so many of us. So many of us have gone through a lot of loss, a lot of pain, and what a year is what I put on the slide. So I want to be here to help you transmute shit into miracles. And the most important thing we're going to be doing, or one of the most important things we're doing to do this, is we have to step out of the victim mentality, which I know is easier said than done, because I feel like I spent a lot of this year in victim mentality, thinking like, why is all this shit happening to me? Is anything ever going to change? But we can honor all the bad, crazy shit that has happened to us and also still claim our power and step out of victim mentality. And right now we're in Sagittarius season. So it's all of dreaming big and big thinking. So that's what I want to help you do today. And I'm going to help guide you through how you can work with all the energies of what has been going on this year. And like I mentioned earlier, to help you align with your highest timeline, your most powerful version. Because when we work with all the crazy shit that's coming up, all the chaos, all the stuff that's happening, that is the magic that guides us to our highest timeline. My slides today are a little bit wordy compared to usual because I just kept getting downloads and downloads and downloads like the last week. So I just had to just keep typing on my computer, and that's me typing. So there may be a little bit more words on the screen than usual, but I promise I'll make it make sense. Okay. Letting go of self-doubt. I love that intention, Deirdre. Thank you for sharing. You know, I'm working on that one too. I feel like I have done that a lot over the last couple of weeks, but there's definitely still some pieces that I'm working through as well. So I love that. And thank you for sharing. Oh my God, that is like really a lot of stuff on one slide. So because this is a free ceremony, and I know there's a lot of people here that might not know my story, and even Deirdre, you might not know all the different pieces of my story. I wanted to share with you like why I feel passionate about talking about this topic of rebirth and all of this shit that's happened this year. So before I even knew what the term rebirth was, like back in the day, like right after college in 2009, I feel like I was already like rebirthing all the time, even though I didn't know what it was. So I kind of just gave you a timeline of my story here, not to make it boring, but just so that you know, like, you know, why I teach about the stuff that I do. So I had like my first big transformation rebirth was losing 60 pounds after undergrad, after college. And that was what catapulted me into launching my first business, being a health and fitness coach in 2012. Then I quit my corporate job in 2013. I was like, what is next on here? By 2015, I started making six figures in my prior business. And then I moved to Hawaii the next year in 2016. And that's where my big spiritual awakening started. Like I was raised Catholic, went to Christian churches on my own in my 20s. And then living in Hawaii was kind of how I learned like all the different like spiritual and healing modalities. And those are the things that really helped me to like heal my confidence, heal my self-worth, like heal trauma, all kinds of shit. So yeah, life got really interesting and really like good at the same time when my big awakening started. And then I launched my own business. I forgot to put this on the slide because my prior business was a network marketing business. So I launched my own business doing what I do now in around 2019. And then after all the years of financial success, I ended up losing basically everything in business around 2021. And then again, this year, I don't remember if I talked about this on the last call or not, because for the sake of time, but it's relevant to today. So I'll talk about that in a sec. I don't know if it's in a second or it's somewhere in the slides. I'll talk more about my lost story this year. But I know I talked about a lot of these things on our Dark Goddess Circle last time. But something that really catapulted me into having a rebirth, even though I was pissed at the time that it was happening, was I had to get a part-time job in 2023 because I didn't have much income anymore. So that job at that yoga studio actually was what catapulted me into teaching divine feminine and astrology and goddess circles, all the different things that I'm doing now. But at the time I was so pissed, like my little ego was like, I haven't had to work a job for 10 years. Like, why do I have to get a job? And like, I'm just being honest. Like, that's what I was thinking. Like, what the fuck, universe? So, but doing that, like literally everything literally happens for a fucking reason, because the owner of the yoga studio was the one that suggested, Jess, why don't you like teach an astrology workshop? Like, why don't you do all these things? You're so good at it. And all of the things that I teach now and the things that I'm mentioning here with the yoga job, it's because it's the tools that have helped me like through my darkest dark nights of the souls the last like 4 years since losing everything the first time in business. I kind of said that next on the slide. Like, I feel like I've been through multiple dark nights of the souls. Let me know if you can relate. You can type stuff in the chat box at any time and I'll make it interactive too, like I said. But yeah, I used to not understand why these things were happening. Like, I felt like at a point in time, honestly, I was mad at God. Like, God, why would you do all this to me? I thought I messed something up. I thought I got something wrong. But what I now know is that all of the things I've been through has been an initiation and a preparation for everything. I know I talked about this last time too, but it's like for everything that I've been praying for, like for the last 10 years or so, I've known I have a big purpose in business and I'm meant to help a lot of people. And you would think that losing everything after big success it seems like you're going backwards, but I actually have learned all the tools so that I can help even more people. And now that I've had to go through so much hard shit, like when we go through hard shit, we have the capacity to like handle more and hold more. So let me know if I'm making sense so far. Just give me a thumbs up. But yeah, like when we're praying, okay, good, for more wealth, more money, more business, more clients, love, a job, whatever it is, like we have to have the capacity to be able to hold that. And like, that's probably, I never even thought about this till this moment. That's probably part of why I lost it all before. Part of it was I wasn't aligned in what I was doing, but I didn't have very good like practices, I guess is the word, to be able to like hold all of those things. And I'd experienced a lot of trauma in my life before then, but never really financial trauma. Like financial trauma, I know any form of trauma is really intense, but when you like are in safety and survival mode, that's like one of the most, to me, traumatizing things I've ever been through. So now that I've been through all of that, now I feel like I can hold more. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. Let me click to the next slide because there's still more. I might have already said all of this. Oh, no. So this is kind of what I mentioned this year. So I was still making residual income on my first business, the fitness coaching business, Beachbody, if you guys know what that is. I was making residual income with them until this year. They did not let us know until the very end of last year that they were like getting rid of like the network marketing part of that. So I had last year sold my car and moved to San Diego and couldn't find a job yet. I was living off of the money from selling my car, the money from my business, and the Beachbody money. They tell us basically January of this year, the income's gone. It's done. So I basically like lost my main source of income at the time because my business I'm doing now, I had like started over and didn't have as many clients. So basically at the beginning of the year, I didn't know how the fuck I was going to pay my rent. I didn't know how I was going to eat food. And I'm not being dramatic. Like I genuinely did not know because the Beachbody income got ripped away. I was applying for jobs and not getting anything. Like my parents had cut me off. Like I had no fucking clue what was going to happen. This was literally like the beginning of this year, like January. And then all these like miracles started to come in. Like I was just like praying, asking for help. And I ended up like getting food stamps, which I didn't even like, I knew that was a thing, but I didn't like know how you got that. And then my parents ended up like buying me a plane ticket to come back home because they didn't want me to I would have never become homeless. Like I would have had a friend that would have taken me in, but that was like, they offered it. So that's what I did. And that was very unexpected because they had cut me off and I didn't really think anything was going to show up and help me, but I kept trusting everything was going to be okay. I think I'm veering off to what I have on the slide. I'm kind of just like riffing about it, but I really learned through that time that when you let go of how your desires or your needs come, that's when miracles happen. And honestly, like I'm just being transparent, having to get food stamps like was another ego death for me because I was like, oh my God, I used to make 6 figures. Now I have to get food stamps. And I would never judge anybody else in that situation. It's just like a self-worth thing on myself, you know? I think I already said all of the things on the slide. Yep, I pretty much did. So everything that you're going through, it is for a reason because this year I've been back at my parents since February. And I've been applying for jobs throughout the year. I still have not gotten anything, which is, to me, it's literally insane, but I know a lot of other people have gone through this as well. But having this space and time without having a job, it's literally what has helped me to like get so clear in my business and what I want to do and feel so aligned in what I'm doing and like build a solid foundation with my business and finally fucking believe in myself again and my abilities in my business, because after I went through all that loss starting in 2021, I felt like such an imposter. And like I still have been working through imposter syndrome this year. And recently I felt like I finally had a big shift with that. But the point I'm trying to make is all the extra time that I've had because I haven't been able to get a part-time job or full-time, any job, it's helped me to like be where I'm meant to be in business. Did that all make sense? Okay, cool. Thank you. I always have so much to say. Okay. So before I go into the themes for today, do you want to share anything or ask any questions? Okay. So that felt like a lot of fucking information. So, but it felt important to share so that you guys know like why I'm here teaching this. And I'm going to dive into even more things throughout the slides and the call today so that you can understand like why whatever you're going through is happening as well. Okay, so we have a few different themes we're going to work through. I'm going to talk a little bit about astrology. We've already kind of done that. There's different goddesses that we will work with that can assist us with these themes of rebirth and alignment. We're going to talk about dreaming big, the different cycles of like the death and rebirth cycles, tips for navigating it. Then we'll talk about alignment. And then I am going to do like a little bonus lesson on channeling for success. So that's essentially like working with God, angels, goddesses, universe, whatever you work with, to give you the action steps to get to success. Did that all make sense? I'm probably going to keep asking you a bunch of times. Okay. Let me take a sip of water. Okay. Am I recording? Let me just double check. Okay, good. Thank you. So I mentioned this in the Dark Goddess Circle last week. And if you guys are listening to the replay of this, the Dark Goddess Circle I'm referring to is part of my new community space, Goddess Power Portal. Deirdre's in there with me. That's why I keep saying, I know we just talked about this. It wasn't last week. I think it was 2 weeks ago. But I'll talk more about that at the end if you want to continue on. So this year has been a 9 year, the year of the snake. And next year is a 1 year, which is all about new beginnings. So once it starts, like once 2026 starts, it becomes the 1 year. But I think it's Chinese astrology. The new year starts in February. So in February, it will become the year of the horse. So all of that to say, this year has been a big year of shedding and letting go. And that's why a lot of like pain and loss and trauma and like crazy shit has happened to so many of us, because it's literally like Goddess Kali, the universe, God, ripping out all the stuff out of our life that isn't aligned. And we just had the Gemini full moon yesterday, which we're releasing more and more like majorly. It's a super moon, so it's kind of intense like an eclipse. I think that was also the last moon that we had too, because I feel like I just said this on the Dark Goddess Circle. So they were both super moons, if I remember correctly. But basically I put on here, it's intense as fuck, girl. Like if you're feeling emotional, if stuff is coming up, like let it out, let it shed, let it go. Because like I said, we're being invited to look at anything else in our life that needs to be released. And we will do a little bit of that in just a moment. Okay, so I believe I did talk about this also in the Dark Goddess Circle, but there's like 4 different goddesses I think I have on the slides today. And there's actually this book, I'm going to show it to you. Whoops. Okay. It's called You Are a Goddess, Working with the Sacred Feminine to Awaken, Heal, and Transform. So this is a book, I don't know when I got it, sometime in the last few years. I feel like this is like my spiritual Bible in the sense that like this book has helped me understand so many of the things we're going to talk about today and like understand why these things are happening, which for me is like very healing, because when we go through painful things and intense things, for me, it helps a lot to like understand why this is happening. And there's like a spiritual reason to it all. So Goddess Kali, she's been like my BFF the last few years. She's helping many of us right now. Like right now we're going through this deep clearing at a soul level. And Goddess Kali is basically, like I keep saying, ripping out anything of our life that isn't aligned for us, isn't true, anything that's surface level or all the ways that we think our life should look, which I know has been a big thing for me because, like I said earlier, I shouldn't have to get a job because I did this. And like, I'm just, I'm making fun of myself as I'm saying that. So it's like big ego death vibes. So I put on here this example because this has been my personal experience. Like right now, you may be living somewhere or working a job or in a relationship of some kind that maybe isn't like, you don't love it. But as light beings, light workers, if you identify with that term, we have a big light that is healing. And sometimes God places us in different communities or in different land to help bring our light to the people that need it. And, or you may also be in a certain situation or place so that you can clear childhood trauma and clear the past. I know that's been my example. Like one of the reasons why I feel like I've been sent back to my hometown is to be able to heal all that stuff from the past. Those are just two examples from my life, but I feel like that could also apply to many people listening to this. So again, like I know I say this all the time, but it's just, I say it a lot because it's helped me through the times where I was lost and didn't understand why like sucky, shitty things were happening. Like everything's for a reason. Like everything's for a reason. And I think I'm so passionate about teaching this because a couple years ago when I didn't understand why all this was happening, I wish somebody would have told me like, this is why this is happening. You're clearing childhood trauma, like all the things I've just said. And I know I've said this multiple times too, but when we're going through loss, when we have chaotic things that are happening right now, I just said this a minute ago actually, but it is our initiation so that we can hold and have the capacity for everything that we're praying for. I just talked about that a minute ago. So you can actually work, let me go back. There's many different ways you can work with the different goddesses. Like some of my favorite things are to just like talk to them, like get a journal and like write messages. You can do meditations with them. There's actually like a lot of different sound healings that you can listen to on YouTube. If you just like search for the particular goddess's name, or you can just like Google like how to work with Goddess Kali, different things like that. Excuse me. So Mother Mary is also a goddess that has helped me a lot. And I feel like when I first started my spiritual path, it felt comforting to me to work with Mother Mary because I was raised Catholic and I was like, okay, this feels safe. Because honestly, a lot of the spiritual stuff like freaked me out when I first moved to Hawaii until I learned more about it. But Mother Mary, I just love her energy because she's like the divine mother. Whenever we're going through a lot of emotions, she is there to like, she's with us. Like this book talks about that. Like anytime you cry, like Mother Mary, this makes me want to cry in a good way. Like you might not see her unless you have that Claire, which one is that? Claire, I don't remember. One of the Claires that you can see. You might not be able to see her. What I'm trying to say is you can feel her presence with you every time you cry. And like that just gives me comfort to like feel the shit I need to feel because as we talked about last time, sometimes it's hard to feel these uncomfortable emotions. So we have to allow ourselves to feel what it is that we're going through. Otherwise, it gets stuck in our body. And we also talked about this last time. It requires a safe environment to do this. So anytime you're doing shadow work, essentially what I'm talking about here, I always recommend having safety and comfort before and after. So something that's going to make you feel grounded and safe and also nurture your inner child. So example, I might cuddle with my cat in a blanket beforehand, cry, freak out, do whatever I need to do. And then after, eat a cupcake or watch a funny show or whatever your inner child likes. Those are just some of my examples. I do have a podcast episode. My podcast is The Wild Feminine Way, if you are not subscribed, on alchemizing shit into gold that talks more about that process. We did also talk about it, the actual process in the Dark Goddess Circle. So if you're listening to this and you join the community, then you can listen to the more on this topic on the replay because all of the replays come when you join. What does the last note say? Oh, it's also really helpful to have supportive, safe environments like what we're doing right now or one-on-one work. And that's been a big part for me too, as I've been working with healers one-on-one, one-to-one, however you say it. I'm trying to think of how many years, like almost 10 years, something like that. Because sometimes it's hard to move through certain things on our own. So that's why I love bringing together these community spaces. Okay. And then the last two goddesses that can help with this rebirth and alignment energy is first is Goddess Persephone. She came to me this morning and I couldn't remember exactly what she represented. So I Googled it, and she literally represents spring and new life, and then death in the underworld, which is literally what we're doing here, like rebirth and alignment. And when we're going through this rebirth process, it's death for rebirth. So we're dying and letting go of all the old ways so that we can rebirth. And I think I'm going to talk about this at some point tonight. I keep saying tonight. It's not tonight. It's 1:30. That there's so many things that we can cling to because they feel safe and comfortable. And I think it was a month or so ago, I had to let go of a lot of people that made me feel safe and comfortable because I knew they weren't aligned anymore. So sometimes it can be really scary to let go. I have a funny example that's coming in to share with you. I'll tell you in a second. But it's like when we let go, we have to trust and know that it will be replaced with better. So the example that's coming through, it's just making me laugh a lot. I don't know if, Deirdre, are you single? I think you are. Okay. I don't know if you use the dating apps or if anyone else on here uses the dating apps. It's a very interesting time on the dating apps, in my opinion. Recently, I don't use them super often, but recently I matched with this guy, Kyle, and he was like super cute, whatever. But he was so fucking boring. Like, I'm not trying to be rude. I don't know how else to say it, but like, I could not hold a conversation with him. And like, I'm the kind of person in a romantic relationship, I have to hold a fucking conversation. Obviously, I like to talk a lot. So I let go of Kyle, even though he was so cute and he had like the cutest kid and like he was like a dad. And like, I don't know, for some reason that made him hotter to me. But I let him go. And then literally, like, I think a week less than a week after that, I ended up meeting this other guy who I've gone on a few dates with, and he's been amazing and has the best conversations, and he is a major upgrade from Kyle. So for some reason, I felt like that example wanted to come through. Okay, so goddess Aphrodite is one of the other goddesses that can help us with our self-worth. And actually, wasn't that your intention, Deirdre? Did I remember that right? Or your like self-doubt stuff. So goddess Aphrodite, she can help us step into our feminine power, because sometimes we can turn off our power because of society, because it might not feel safe to like be as powerful or shine as bright. And that's also why I love to host circles and work with women one-on-one, because when we come together, we can remind each other of our power. And having safe and nurturing relationships for me has really helped this process of the death and the rebirth and the dark nights of the souls. So those are some of the goddesses that you can work with. I work with the goddesses all the time, and I just feel like that's been such a key in my path to like manifestation and healing and all the different things I teach about. Any questions before we move on? Okay, cool. So I've kind of already said this, but this felt really important. So when we're wanting to rebirth into our new version, we have got to dream motherfucking big. And I think this channel message came in at the beginning that if you have a big dream, it is for a reason. And my belief is that God puts these dreams on our hearts, like on purpose. Like if there's something that you are just so obsessed with and you can't stop thinking about, it's because you're meant to do it. And our higher self, future self, whatever you want to call it, when we get visions or downloads or ideas or intuitive nudges, recently I actually learned this, like, it's like, it was some scientific process of how she explained that this worked, this class that I took. But when this happens, it's actually our higher self sending us these visions, or God, or both, or whatever you believe, from that future timeline. I know that sounds like really trippy and out there, but the way she explained it made sense. I'm probably not explaining it how she said it, but every little nudge that we get, it's like our instruction manual. It's like the words that are coming through to explain it. And I already kind of talked about this earlier, but for the last 10 years or so, like I've known I've had a big purpose in business. I don't think I've told this story in a long time, but I actually like heard God tell me to quit my job back in 2013, my corporate job. And at that time, my Beachbody business wasn't making a full-time income, but I took a really big leap of faith and moved in with my parents. And like within 3 months, I think it was 3 months. 3 months, I had like quadrupled my income. And then right after that, I like moved out on my own. Like I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, which is the first big city I ever lived in. I just felt guided to share that for some reason, because I know leaps of faith are really scary as fuck to take. But again, I believe all of these things are planted on our hearts for a reason. And because I've had such a big relationship with God for all of my years past, like doing all the spiritual stuff, like I've just known that I've had this big purpose, and that confidence and that faith is what I've had to cling on to, especially in like the dark nights of the soul moments when you're going through a lot of pain and loss, especially this year where like I lost everything again. I was like, what is happening? So it's definitely a lot harder, like in those moments where you're really going through it. But again, that's why we have each other, to remind each other. So this statement on here, I think I pulled a card the other day that said this, and I was like, this has to go in this class. So have faith. The arrival of your dreams is imminent. I don't know that I actually know what the word imminent means. Let me know if you do, Deirdre. But what I feel like it means is it's guaranteed. Like it's happening. Like there's no way it's not happening. So I literally just had the same thing on this slide. I didn't pay attention to that. I basically have the same thing on this slide that I had on the last one. But like I've known for a long time that like I meant to help millions of people, and that sounds crazy even to say right now, but I'm owning it more and more myself. So essentially, just like I was saying a minute ago, my current circumstances with money and with business, like they don't faze me anymore, but they used to, believe me. Like honestly, even a month ago, I was like crying and freaking out a lot. Like a lot. Like 3 months ago, crying, freaking out all the fucking time. But I do all the same work that I teach here because I'm on the journey with you. So yeah, it's just so important to like have faith and have confidence in God, in your dreams, and your purpose. All right. Anything you want to ask or share, Deirdre, before we keep going? All right. So I actually attended a class kind of similar to this one I'm hosting almost either 2 or 3 years ago. And that's where I started learning about like the death and rebirth process. Like I never really heard of it that much. And they talked about like the different parts of the cycle and the different seasons essentially. So every season that we're in, which I'm going to go through them all on the next slide, every season is an initiation. And I think I've said this 8 million times so far, but it's so that we can hold and carry what we couldn't before. Because sometimes we might think we're ready for something. We might think we're ready for love. We think we're ready for the clients, for the financial success, but maybe we don't have the ability yet to hold it all. Or maybe there's like a certain skill, or I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for, but it just might not be time yet, even if we really, really want it right now. And I know this has been so true for me through everything I've been through, like throughout this year with the financial loss at the beginning of the year, like I said. Like I've gone through so many financial things this year where I'm like, okay, what else, universe? Like, what else you got? Like, I can fucking handle anything. I would not have said that. Like the first time I lost everything, I don't know if I told this, I didn't tell the story here, but I like let myself get evicted from my dream apartment on the water in LA when things started to crumble. Back then, I was so devastated, and like I still had plenty of money. I just like things weren't working with business, and things weren't working with like me paying rent on time. So I took it as a sign from the universe to like do something differently. And me back then, I was fucking devastated. Me now, where like I literally had like no money basically at the beginning of the year, didn't know where I was going to live potentially, didn't know how I was going to eat food. Yes, that was scary in that moment, but now that I've gone through so many crazy financial things this year, it's like getting evicted from the apartment and all the other things in the past, like it doesn't even faze me. I'm like, okay, what else? What else? And by the way, I meant to say this earlier, but I finally got a fucking job. They just emailed me last night, and I'm going to start this month. And I literally applied for this job back in July and interviewed in September, and I didn't get hired as soon as she wanted. She wasn't busy. Her business wasn't busy enough yet. It's a spa. So, but that job was like literally the dream job I had been calling in all fucking year. And all the other, however many hundreds of jobs I've applied for since that interview in September, like I didn't get any of them. And it kind of sucked because I needed money for things, but it all worked out. I had the money for everything I needed. I'm rambling right now, but let me know if all that made sense that I just said, because I don't even know. I think I was just giving you an update that like things will shift when they are meant to. So one of the phases, I always confuse those two words. One of like the seasons essentially is the void space. And I think we also talked about this in the Dark Goddess Circle. This could also be like the winter cycle. Oh, thank you, girl. I'm excited. It's going to feel nice to not have to apply for jobs anymore. um, so winter can, which we're about to literally start in a couple weeks, can also be identified as the void. So it's like the darker space, not as much feels like it's happening like above the surface, but there's actually like so much happening. Like I always say behind the scenes. And when I say that, I mean like God, angels, universe are orchestrating things for you. When we're going through all these different astrological cycles, we're getting upgrades and we're healing, and all the work that we're doing on ourselves is healing and shifting things energetically. It just takes time for like the physical reality to catch up to like our mindset and our energy. Does that make sense how I explained it? Okay. So I've said this a million times already, but when everything gets stripped away, it's because we're making space for all that we want to come in. And I literally just said what was on the fucking slide without even realizing it. So yeah, so much is actually happening when it doesn't even feel like it. And I've recently learned more this year about like solar flares and they're called geomagnetic storms. Don't know what that means exactly, but it's something that like the earth is doing, Mother Gaia. So her energy is healing and it's actually helping us as well. So sometimes, I don't know if we talked about ascension symptoms in the last call, but essentially like with the full moon and with these different astrological events, we can sometimes feel things like having trouble sleeping or having headaches. I think we might have talked a little bit about that. So when we're getting these ascension symptoms or we're feeling really intense emotions or anxiety, it feels intense, but it's actually exciting because when it's happening during these astrological events and portals, a lot of times it is an ascension symptom because we're being like blasted with light from the earth, from the universe, so that we can upgrade. And I always say, like, go to your doctor. Like, I'm not a doctor. If you're having weird sensations in your body, go to the doctor, trust yourself. But I know from myself, there's just been really weird things that my body has experienced and felt and gone through over the last few years. All right. So think about what cycle or season you may be in right now. And I really feel like this can be different in each area of your life at times. It's interesting for me, like I put the different seasons on here. It's like literally the seasons of the planet. Is that what I would call it? Yeah, like spring, winter, fall, and summer. But we can have these seasons energetically as well in our life, which is what I'm talking about here. So I feel like right now I'm in a little bit of like spring because things are starting to bloom. Like I met this amazing guy. I finally got a job. Like I have more clients in my business after a lot of the year, not much going on. But like in the actual world, we're about to go into winter time, which is kind of the opposite of that. So you have to think about like what season you're actually in, and the actual seasons that we're in, they can help us as well. Like going into winter, it is more of a time of like rest and going within. So it can be like beneficial for different things like healing or writing or just like different things that you would do within like your own time, your own little shell, like a little healing cocoon. Does that make sense so far? I want to talk about all of them today. It's like kind of, it's mostly self-explanatory. It might not be self-explanatory. I'm just used to talking about it. So if it's not, ask me any questions at any time. But I feel like most people here probably know what I'm talking about. So each different season, it is for a reason. Like if you think about, I don't know, a certain flower. Like I know, here's an example. We have these Christmas cactuses here at my parents' house, and they only bloom like when it's cold. Like I think they just started blooming around Thanksgiving. So you can't force the fucking flower of the Christmas cactus to bloom when it's not time. So it's like there's this oracle deck that I have from Rebecca Campbell, one of my favorite authors, and she always talks about like the universe, God, the earth is so intelligent that the flowers know when to bloom, the sun knows when to come up, and we don't have to think about it. We don't have to do anything. So that's actually like the same with our life. Like, yes, we have to like take aligned actions to get to what we want to manifest, but we don't have to force it. We don't have to like push it into happening, because what is meant for us will not pass us by. And I know so many people say that, and I used to get so pissed when people said that, but I have definitely learned the last few years that that is so true. Like you can't force stuff if it's not meant for you. And you can't force creativity either. Like if you're an entrepreneur, like I've tried plenty of times, and I know we talked a lot about creativity on the last call. Like the times where I haven't felt as creative or I haven't been as on social media as much, all of those seasons like were for a reason. And so much of that the last couple of years before this year, I wasn't on social media as much, but I did so much healing work on myself where I wouldn't be able to be where I am right now of like how powerful I feel within myself without all that time. So I always say for entrepreneurs, this is what I've learned. Don't create just to produce. So like, don't post on social media and make yourself do something just because you think you have to post. Now you can apply this example to anything, not just business. But I know it might sound counterintuitive or counterproductive, but when we're really inspired and when we have this really great idea of something we want to sell or a post we want to put up, that's the energy we want to be in. If we're in the energy of like forcing and pushing or like, oh, I have to make a sale to do X, Y, and Z, or I have to post because you're supposed to post this amount of time, like those are two different energies. Do you get what I'm saying? Two totally different energies. And this is something I have really, really, really had to practice myself because just all of the conditioning that we have in business and the online business world, and especially being in network marketing, like we're taught to hustle and always be on, and not even just network marketing, the whole fucking world tells us like we always have to be on, we always have to hustle. Excuse me. But when we do that, like we get burnt out. Like that's why cycles are so important. And it's like, so that we don't burn out, it's important to step into our feminine energy, which I talk about that all the time. Like being in that energy where we're resting more and we're allowing ourselves to like play and have fun and not just be working hard all the fucking time. And manifesting what we want, it doesn't have to be hard. It actually gets to be easy. And I know that sounds crazy because again, I feel like we have a lot of conditioning around hard work equals results. And I'm not saying again that you don't have to put action in, but it's aligned action. And when you're in alignment, I feel like things become a lot easier when things manifest. And I feel like as a society, we're like rewiring so much of this right now as we step into like the new paradigm where we're more in alignment with our feminine energy. I think that's the last one for the cycles. Ooh, let me see what you said, girl. Yes, I definitely get that about not forcing posting just because someone tells me to. Yes, good. I'm glad that resonates. I know, I don't know why, but that was just such a big thing for me. I guess for me personally, I'm like, well, what are people going to think of me? What if they think I'm like flaky or not serious or not a good business owner or a good coach or whatever? But I just think about the fact that I love it when I see other entrepreneurs that aren't forcing themselves to be on all the time. So I'm like, well, let me be that example for other people too, that like you can take breaks. You don't have to like kill yourself working your business all the time. Okay. Do you want to ask or share anything before we move on? Okay. Excuse me. My kitty cat's here. Okay, so some of my most helpful things that have helped me navigate like going through intense things like the death and rebirth part of the cycle. We talked about this in the Dark Goddess Circle, and we've already talked about it a little bit here. Yeah, we did. So it's essentially just like doing anything that makes you feel safe, for like safe and grounded, inner child and fun. So those two things. And then the third is community, which we've talked about all of those things today as well. What was I talking about here on the slide? Oh, so sensuality and pleasure. I talked about that a little bit in the Dark Goddess call because that was like one of the pillars that I talked about, but I wanted to just talk about it a little bit more today. So when I say sensuality, again, it doesn't have to mean like sexuality. It doesn't have to mean sex with someone else or sex with yourself. It's literally just like your body and feeling comfortable in your body. So there's like sensual dance that I started doing sometime earlier this year. It was this class that I attended, and she was talking about how sensuality can actually help you feel safe. Like it helps your nervous system. So it can just be like touching yourself. I don't know if you can see me, like lightly like that. Just anything that makes you feel your senses, that makes you feel feminine, and that makes also just like pleasure. Pleasure is such an important piece to life and navigating going through crazy things. Like some of the simplest things that have helped me is like, I love Walmart lately because they're really cheap and I've been on a budget lately, and I can literally just get a $1 lipstick from Walmart, and that makes me so fucking happy. Like, so little things like that, like any way you can incorporate pleasure in your life so that you're just not so stressed all the time. Because I know a big part of this year, I was just so stressed all the time because of everything that was happening. And we can't make the stress go away, but we can do things like completely. We can do things like to help us manage it as well. And I say we can't make it go away completely because we're always going to go through different things in life. Does that make sense? Let me know. Okay, cool. So another piece that has helped me so much, I learned this from a past healer years ago, is to look at why a certain situation is happening. So example, I'll just use it again, me living with my parents. Not my favorite thing in the world. I'm fucking 38 years old now. It's not my favorite thing in the world to live with my parents, especially when you're dating, like, or just anything. Like, there's just so many reasons why it's weird to live with your parents. It's not bad. Like, there's lots of good things, but we want to look at the blessings and the lessons. So what am I learning from being here? And what are the actual blessings? And I'll just give you some examples. Like, blessings would be being around my parents now that they're getting older, you know, having more time with them because I lived so far away from them for so many years. A lesson would be, here's the big one for me. I used to define so much of my success or my worth based on how much money I made. And I went from like being 25 and quitting my corporate job to like now I'm 38 living at home with my parents, not making six figures at the moment. And I just felt like such a failure for so long after like the losses that I've been through. But in dating, it's actually helped me too. Like, I used to be so embarrassed even until recently, like this guy that I just met 2 weeks ago. Like, I just let him see all of me. I live with my parents. Like, this is my situation. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, that has been one of the biggest things for me. So everything that we're going through, if we can just look at one, the blessings, and two, the lessons, and even like writing it down if you feel guided to, like, that helps so much to get through things. And this slide, I talk about preparation and initiation, which I've literally said 15 times already, I think. So just remember that that is why it's happening, so you can hold what you want. And if things aren't happening yet, it is for a reason. Like, I know we talk about divine timing all the time, but it's so, so true. And I've pretty much said this a million times, but like, sometimes our soul, I don't think I said it in these exact words, but our soul like will sign up to go through different lessons because our soul wants to grow and learn. So these hard things that we're going through helps our soul grow. It helps our soul learn. And then so many of us right now are healing deep ancestral patterns, especially with money. And I really didn't even learn this until probably the end of last year, that I just like had a brain fart, sorry, that sometimes when we go through these crazy financial situations, it's not because we're manifesting wrong or any of those things. It's because our soul is here to end ancestral cycles of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like survival mode around money. Because so many of our ancestors haven't been able to like have the wealth or have the success or whatever it is, because we are trained to be in survival mode, like as society. So if you have like crazy financial things playing out in your life, it very well could be that you're healing deep ancestral patterns. And if you're healing it so that it stops playing out, then you're ending it for like all of your ancestors to come in the future. And learning that was like one of the things that helped me so much, because I'm like, oh my God, like, because I've taught manifestation for years. I know how the fuck to manifest. Like, I've manifested amazing things and done crazy things with business and money and lived all over the world. And I'm like, why did all this shit happen to me? Like, I know how the fuck to do this, but it's all the things I just said: divine timing, soul growth and lessons, and healing deep ancestral patterns. So again, like I said earlier, I wish someone would have told me these things like 2 or 3 years ago when things were really hard for me. It would have made things make so much more sense. So that's why I wanted to talk about it here. All right. I think this is the last one before we do the rituals. Anything else you want to chat about? Or not anything else, but anything on that topic. I'll keep talking about this one and wait to see if you say anything. So I think there's 2 more slides actually before the rituals. So now we're going into like the alignment piece. Like, we've been moving through like the rebirth pieces and all of that. So anything that's coming up in our life that we don't like, or any emotion that we're having, like a negative emotion, it's essentially just showing us what is not in alignment. And by looking at this information, excuse me, that's how we align with our highest timeline. So, what was I talking about on this slide? Sometimes I put notes on the slides and I'm like, what was that talking about? Oh, okay. So, I don't know. Hang on. Let me just look at this. I did so great with all the other slides. And on this one, I'm like, what the actual fuck was I talking about? Okay. So, I think I'm pretty much going to leave it at that. Like, if we have a negative emotion that's coming up or a situation that we don't like I said, I'm trying to think of a specific example right now and it's not coming to me. Okay, I know. So this year, I've kind of been trying so many different things with business of like how I want to structure my programs and how I want to structure my membership, for example. I think I've had 3 different versions of membership before the one I have now. And now the one I have now, the Goddess Power Portal, is like, I finally feel like I got it. But there were just like times before with my past programs where I'm like, oh, this just doesn't feel right for some reason. Like I feel excited to talk about it, but it feels heavy. And then I realized, well, this price isn't right, or this setup of this program isn't right, or whatever. And this can apply. I'm giving a business example again. I know a lot of people that listen to me are entrepreneurs as well, but you can apply that literally to anything. You can apply it to dating, to relationships. Like I talked about with boring Kyle. I was like, he's kind of boring, but he's like so cute. And then I was like, maybe I'm not feeling that happy in the situation because it's fucking boring. And I need to open up space for more people to come in. Okay, let me see what you said. Great information because it makes sense with all the things that have been happening now in the last couple of years financially and creatively. Oh, good. I'm so glad. Yeah, I feel like the people that are in my world have probably been through a lot of similar things. So many of us have been through these things the last few years. And the thing to keep in mind, this is why I love astrology so much, is that we have the 1 year that starts in less than 30 days now. So this year has been more intense because it's the 9 year, like I talked about. And next year is like new beginnings. And yeah, so that's why I love having this information. So I'm glad that it helps. And I've already said this, but sometimes it just takes time for our 3D physical reality to catch up with our 5D, our mindset. And it really is all divine timing, no matter how long you have to wait. I promise, like it is all for a reason. Like, just like I gave the example with getting the job finally, literally yesterday. Like, I'm so glad, even though it sucked worrying about money a lot of times, I'm so glad that I didn't get all the other jobs I applied for, because this is like my dream job of like, it's my dream place isn't to live here, but if I have to live here for now, this will be my dream job for here, because where I live right now is a small town and doesn't have a lot of stuff. So yeah, I think what I was trying to say on this one slide is, after I did the Dark Goddess Circle and talking about all these different things that I have learned over the years, like I realized I'm who I always wanted to be. Like myself and my personality and my strength and my faith now is who I wanted to be years back when I had all the money. I didn't have like the self-worth and confidence, essentially. So yeah, like just everything that we're ever going through, anything that feels like a negative emotion, like I said, or anything that's pissing us off or anything you don't like, it's just showing you what isn't in alignment. So that's why I always talk about, like, when we have full moons or any astrological thing or just anything in general, take astrology out. Like if you can just look at, I think I gave this example last time, like I was feeling kind of lonely and I was like, oh, like there's just not a lot to do here. Like I can't meet like-minded people. And then I was like, oh, well, duh, like I can like look up Facebook events, because the town where I live posts, I don't know if everywhere does this, but we post a lot of things on Facebook events where you can like see different local things. So let me know if that makes sense, because I feel like my brain for some reason on this slide is like, I feel like, okay, good. I feel like I'm one of those like robots or something that's like pausing and like loading, not working, loading. Okay. So I said on here as well that happiness is a choice. And I think if someone would have told me that when I was in my dark nights of the souls, I probably would have slapped them. It probably would have pissed me off. But I heard this recently and I'm like, it really is true. Like excuse me, this year, like I am telling you, like, I've been on such a fucking budget with money. Like, I've like not had extra money really for much at all this year. And that has sucked big dicks. Like, I don't know how else to say it. But throughout that, I have learned like the small things that make me happy. And like, yes, I can be stressed. Yes, I can feel the negative emotions. I can, like, we always want to allow ourselves to feel the things. But if we stay in that, like, we don't want to be in that place. So you can create happiness, even if it's just in small moments, no matter what your circumstances. Now, I know a lot of people may be in really crazy circumstances, maybe not people listening to me, but I know there's a lot of stuff going on in the world where people might be in really crazy circumstances. I'm more so talking to people that are just like us, like going through things and all the things we've talked about here today. And I know for me, like the biggest thing that has helped me, like honestly, this year, I was thinking about this recently. I don't even think 2 or 3 months ago, I would have believed that I feel as happy and fulfilled as I do right now since I've relaunched my membership. Like, I didn't think I would ever feel happy again, honestly, sometimes. Like, I knew that I would, but it felt so impossible and it felt so far away because of just all the hard shit I've been through the last few years. So even a few months ago, I didn't know that I would feel as happy and fulfilled as I do now. And the biggest part of that is because like diving into my purpose in my business and like even before I had like, because I've had a few months this year where I've had no clients, but even then, like my purpose is just like sharing on social media things that are helping me with what I'm going through with all the various different things that I teach and simplifying it as well. I know I'm using an entrepreneur example again, but I've really just like simplified social media and just had fun with it again and like just yeah, just made it fun again and made it easy again, essentially. And that's been a really big part of like finding joy each day and giving me purpose. Is that the last one on alignment? Okay, that was the last alignment one. Anything on alignment, let me know in the chat box and I'll keep talking. This is our last one before the ritual. Okay. I've got to open that up more so I can see it more. So this is like the little bonus teaching that I wanted to give you, and I called it channeling for success. So like I said earlier, my brain is just like doing the robot like pause thing again. Hang on, let me minimize this. I'm going to see if you said anything in the chat. Okay, not yet. So I have learned that a lot of times why things aren't working is because I feel like I'm following, I know this now. I realized I was like following my head too much. Like I was too much in the logical mind frame, essentially, or what I think I should do. I feel like we might have talked about that a lot last time. So the last like year or two, I've really been working on this more. And I've especially been working on this the last couple of weeks, like channeling. And it's always, always, always so much more, what's the word? Powerful, because when we channel and we talk to God, our higher self, the goddesses, we can get, what was the thing that I called it earlier? Like our divine instruction manual or whatever I called it. We can get our divine instruction manual and not have to think with our logical mind or what we think we should do. Because when we think too much with our logical mind, like we're going to get logical results. So if we want miraculous results, we got to like go up to the big man upstairs or whatever you want to call it. So literally like everything that I've created in my business has been through doing this. Like, I guess I've actually been doing this longer than I'm thinking of now that I'm talking more about it. Like when I started this business in 2019, I would just like ask like, what do I call this program? I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Actually, I see it's later on in the slide, but like each different day I'll pull cards, I'll channel messages, and then I'll share to my followers on social media what I think people need to hear, because it's messages that are helping me. And a lot of times I just get messages that will also help other people. So the blueprint is within us. We have to trust ourselves because like I said earlier, the ideas and the downloads that you get, it's all for a reason. Like we have to claim our power and know that we have everything we need within us, not without us. So before I give you the process, I'm going out of order. I'll give you some examples. So when I created like my new signature course, this is a self-paced course. It's called Divine Feminine Rebirth. That was literally all a freaking download that I got from watching a movie one time during Mercury retrograde. And I think I had COVID, so I had to rest. And then Sorry, I'm doing that thing again where I'm like, what was I saying on this slide? Yeah, so like when I do readings, when I do posts, like all of it is coming from me channeling messages. Sometimes I get messages in dreams, I get downloads and ideas for that. I think I actually might have gotten this idea in a dream for this or something like that. And this is what I was going to say is since I started this business in 2019, I will like ask God and the angels, whatever guides I'm working with, what is the name you want me to call this program? How much do I price it for? Like, who is this program for? Like every single question. But this also works for any area of life, like getting a job or selling your car. Last year when I sold my car to move to San Diego, I don't even remember. Oh, I had my car trying to sell it up on Facebook Marketplace for a while and it wasn't selling. And then I got the download to just like change the price of it. And as soon as I changed the price, I think I took a couple of days off social media and I came back to like 15 messages of like people wanting to like buy my car at like, it was, and I didn't reduce the price that much, like maybe $2,000. And then the first person that looked at it, they bought it and it was so easy. And I had $15,000 more than I did earlier that day. So easy. What was I talking about here? Oh, recently on the 1111 portal, I got a download to post in this Facebook group that I'm in for entrepreneurs that host retreats. And I got a lot of people because I was also looking for a job to like work in retreats somehow or host retreats of my own. And I'm just going to keep it concise and not tell you the whole thing just for the sake of time. But I got this idea, this download to post something in that retreat group. And I think I had like, I don't know, 10 to 20 people, something like that, that like wanted to talk to me about hosting retreats or like helping them with their retreat center. So again, we're going to the big man upstairs. I'm just going to say that again, or goddesses, whoever you work with, because they know so much more than we do. So before I go to the process, which is on the slide, any questions or anything you want to share? I feel like my brain is like not braining. Ooh, my throat. Let me take a sip of water. Oh, that was sweet. I think I put too much sugar in my tea. My kitty cat. I'm just going to take like a 30-second moment to move. I feel like that was a lot of talking, so I'm like trying to get back in my body for a second. We're like almost at the end. We have a couple more things to do. See me? Okay. I'll go through the process while I'm waiting to see if you want to share anything. So the process to channel messages is so simple. This is what I do. There's lots of different ways to do it, but I just like to keep it simple. So, and I honestly, I used to do this before I even had a process, like probably like over 10 years ago. Like I would just, I think I talked about this last call, take a journal and write down what I think God would want to tell me. So my process now is I just like pray and tune in. So I'm like, God, angels, goddesses, if there's a certain goddess I'm working with, I say like, I set the intention to connect with you. Please give me any helpful messages I need today. I always say make them fun, easy, and clear so that I can understand it. And then I ask Archangel Michael to put protection around me and block out anything that's not of the highest level of love and light. So that's what I say. That's not on the slide, but this will be recorded so you can come back to it. That's pretty much the first two steps. I just realized I said, so you pray and you tune in, you connect to your higher self, goddesses, guides, whoever you're working with. And then step 3 is you ask for guidance. So there's different clairs with like the psychic abilities. I won't talk about them all here today, but you can Google them or ask me if you have questions. You might be good at like writing messages that you get, or maybe you just get a feeling, or you might audibly hear a message. There's so many different ways. My personal one that, because I've always been a writer, like since I was like 8 years old, I like to write a lot. Like it comes in very clear for me that way. Or sometimes, like I said, it could just be a feeling. Like I said, with selling my car, I just was like, oh, I think I need to reduce it $2,000, and then it sold. So that's the process. It's actually pretty freaking simple. Let's see what you said in the chat. I heard it go off. I hadn't thought about asking questions to God about my business name and other stuff. I love it. Yeah, I don't even really know how I started doing that. I just did. And yeah, that's just what I do. Sometimes I forget to do it, and then I'm like, oh, maybe that's like why that one thing isn't working the right way, because I like didn't go up and like ask. So yeah, I just feel like I feel like for me doing that, I'm really trying to get in the habit of remembering to do it all the time with everything that I do, because a lot of times things just don't work when I don't, honestly, because I feel like I'm coming from like my logical mind or my ego. So that's why I love this process and why I love teaching it. Does the process make sense? Any questions? Yay. Okay. Thanks for always thumbs up in me. You're the best. All right. Let me go to the next slide. So we're going to do some rituals. What did I do? All right. These are the same disclaimers I gave last time, but we're going to do some journaling again this time, because it just, with the Gemini full moon, Gemini is all about communication. So journaling, communication. And right now I feel like the energy of the super moon is really easy to like connect with our higher self, with God, the angels. So journaling, I felt like, was like the thing for today again, because of all these potent energies. Because it's a lot, I think I just said this, it's a lot easier to get messages right now. So no small thinking allowed, and start thinking about where you want to be like next year, how you want the next year to go. Because like we've talked about, this was the heavy year and now we're coming into the fresh energy. So everything had a purpose. All right. I think I actually found a way to play music. We're going to attempt it. I'll do it in a second. So we have these journaling prompts, and then I have a bonus homework one that I'll show you next, and you can just take a picture of. So I think we'll take like, I don't know, 2 to 3 minutes or something like that. I'll check in and see if we need more time, and I'll read them to you. Excuse me as well. I'll actually guide you through it like we did last time. So the focus of these journaling prompts really are on like helping us to let go and release anything else like I keep talking to. And then the second component of this is the alignment, like we've been talking about. So that's where I'm going with these journaling prompts. So I'm going to try to play the music on my phone, because someone did this on a call I was on this week and it worked. So I'll play it as we journal, and let me know. Before we start journaling, I'll test it and let me know if you can hear it. Let's see. Oh, that's loud. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear it. Sam. Yeah? Okay. I'll turn it down some. All right. So the first journaling prompt is, what are you clinging to for fear of nothing to come take its place? And I told y'all about this earlier, that there are some big things that I let go of recently that gave me a lot of safety and security. But when I did that, like literally, I feel like I've quantum leaped in business, money, relationships, etc. like the last month or so since I let go of these crazy things. So that's the first prompt. And then I'll guide you to the next one. I'm going to do it on my phone too while we're doing it. I'm going to move on to the next one just for the sake of time, but feel free to keep doing the first one if you need to. And if you do want to share your answers in the chat box, don't feel like you have to, but I would love to hear them for you or from you. And you can also complete these later if you need to. I'm just trying to not go for like ever and ever and ever, because we still have like a couple more things. All right. So the second journaling prompt is, what is feeling heavy right now? And you can actually do with this one, what is feeling light and fun right now? These two journal prompts, I know I can talk about entrepreneur stuff. Again, if you're not an entrepreneur, you can apply it to anything. But asking what is feeling heavy and what's feeling fun, specifically with business, has really helped me get into, I mean, this is going to help you get in alignment with anything, but this has really helped me get into alignment with my business this year. Because it's just, a lot of times you realize we're doing so much shit that we think, again, we should do or that we're supposed to do or what the fuck ever. So that's our next one. What's feeling heavy right now and what's feeling light and fun? Come now, child, lay it down. Just breathe, just be. Come be cradled in the arms of love. Just breathe, just be. Come now, child, lay it down. Just breathe, just be. Come be cradled in the arms of love. Just breathe, just be. Come now, child, lay it down. Just breathe, just be. Come be cradled in the arms of love. Just breathe, just be. Come now, child. Okay, the last journal prompt is, how has this year actually been initiating you into what you want? So kind of like we've been talking about, like any blessings, any lessons, like, because a lot of times we might not realize in the moment why things are happening. So you might not have the perspective yet, but sometimes when you start thinking about it, like you'll start to get little pings. Okay. So how has this year actually been initiating you into what you do want? Just breathe, just be. Now child, lay it down. Just breathe, just breathe. I'll give you a few more seconds on that one. Just breathe, just breathe. No child. I feel like I'm super hot. I always get really freaking hot when I'm doing business stuff. I think I get excited. All right. So those are a little, that made me feel calm for some reason. Those are the journaling prompts for now. Do you want to share any of your answers? You don't have to. If you want to, you can unmute yourself, but don't feel like you have to.
Yeah, definitely for me, I feel I guess what I was doing at the beginning of the year and last year, listening to other people and like trying to follow what they're saying, post this day, post every day, and it
Yeah.
wasn't working. Um, and so like they would get frustrated, but it wouldn't be what I would feel connected to.
Yeah.
But this year it's like I had to take that time of resting because of loss, and then just the whole feeling of disconnect from like social media and stuff.
Yep.
So, and now it's like taking that time to heal and be able to get back to like creativity. Great. So I thought my earphones died. I thought it could hear me. So like being creative, and just coming back to myself, finding my voice again and creativity and
Yeah.
sharing and realizing like I didn't have to be perfect about it,
Yeah.
and kind of like being in that kind of childlike spirit, I guess. Like, because when we're
Yeah.
kids, we're just creating stuff. We're not worried about judgment.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, that helped me realize what I wanted, and like that fire inside me kind of like lit up again. And
Yeah.
now, like, if I want to post, it's because I want to post, not
Mhm.
because others are telling me. Um,
Yes.
and it's like I want to share so that like that people can see like the journey I went through, so that they can finally step out of like the shadows of their life and do what
Mhm.
they want to do with, write their story, share their story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so it feels good that kind of let go of that heaviness of having to do what other people think felt right, and
Yeah.
then doing what feels right for me. um
Yes, girl.
and then the lightness is like being more creative, and having this group of artists and introverts like me that use art, and we've been doing like art challenging challenges and sharing our work
Nice.
in like a group chat. So that's helped me like realize like, even though I'm not like that good at art, but being able to express myself, they see it and like they compliment on stuff, and it makes me like what I'm doing and like keep going, so I get better at it.
I love that. That just made me so happy to hear all that. I love it. Thank you for being open and sharing. And it's cool that our stories feel so similar and connected because I don't even think I guess I did kind of mention this, but I definitely had like a big time where I wasn't on social media either. And like a couple years of like a lot of rest and not much happening. So definitely can relate to everything you're saying so much. Thank you for sharing, love. Could you still hear me?
Yes,
Okay,
I had to
cool.
turn my
Did I
volume
cut
up.
you off?
No, you're good.
Okay, cool. Yay. I love it. Did you want to share anything else? That sounds powerful.
um I guess it's just helping me. Yeah, I think like initiating that is helping me like, I wouldn't say push, but kind of push through fear. Um,
Yeah.
and like now it's like if I have to slow down, it's okay. Instead
Hmm.
of feeling like, oh, well, I'm getting left behind kind of stuff, but like realizing if I push myself to do something, then it's not gonna work. Even like showing up, like before, I used to like be on social media every time somebody was like, oh, we're doing this, group call or something. I would show up. Um, But now it's like I only show up to things I feel like it's aligning with me. Like,
Yeah.
and like I can feel myself wanting to show up, the excitement to show up for those things, um, instead of just being, following the leader and stuff like that. It's making me realize, like, if my gut is telling me not to do it, like, don't do it. Don't just push
Yes.
forward because
That gave me chills.
everybody is saying, this works for me. Because I learned that last year. Like, I can't fit in other people's boxes. I have to fit in my own.
Yes.
And that's the only way it's gonna work, business, life wise, creativity and stuff like that.
I can relate to that so much. Like the reason I speak so much on like letting go of what you think you should do is because I also for years in business like followed all the shit that they told you to do. And like I feel like that was a huge part of why my business crumbled before, is because I was in the box that everyone else told me to be in. So I completely get that. And I want to tell you that based on everything that you just said, it feels like you really are already getting rid of so much self-doubt and trusting yourself so much more based on everything you've just shared. So you should be proud of yourself for that.
Yes.
Yes. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for sharing. I love that. Anything else you want to share about the journaling?
Well, I think that's it. But I guess also I'm kind of letting go, like, I guess showing up. Like, I'm not like too afraid to show up. But it's like, I guess I still have to let go. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. Um, that's a thing I have to let go of and just like kind of have more fun with it, because then it's being me. I'm being myself, and I can be more open
Yeah,
and um, allowing, that fun space for people to come
yeah,
and write and just, realize that they have something inside of them.
for sure. I feel like me having like personal experience in what you're just talking about and relating to that, I feel like it's kind of just like a process to let go of the perfection. And like I'm still working on it. Like it's been years since I've been working on it to just like make it fun and like make it less complicated. And like even now I feel like I'm pushing through layers of sharing like more about my story and my past and like the all the loss and stuff that I've been through, because sometimes it sucks to talk about it. I I think the thing that helps me push through the most is to just like focus on the people that I'm going to help and like just fucking do it. Like I was doing this myself with a post yesterday. I was like trying to edit it and make it look all perfect, and like I was like, no, just like put it out there. Like I think there's a degree to like editing it because it has to make sense. But like I was just like, no, like I feel like a long time ago a business coach told me like done is better than perfect. And I think that we just kind of learn through the trial and error of like how to make it more fun and how to simplify it and how to not be perfect all the time. And yeah, like if you ever want to share in our Facebook community, like about things, if like that would help you, like as you're pushing through these things, like definitely use that as a space. Cause I know that's what helps me, is because I have other entrepreneur friends and mentors that like help me push through these things I'm working through. So I'm here for you, girl. I gotcha. Yay. All right. Let me go. This is just some bonus rituals you have for homework. You can take a screenshot of these. It's just a couple more journaling prompts that you can do for like happiness, fulfillment, dreaming big. And then I'm going to give you guys the playlist I have for the Dark Goddess Circle. It's just a few songs on there, but there's a song on there. It's by Trevor Hall. I think it's called Set Fire to Your House or something like that. It's a really good song. Did you listen to it?
Yeah, I
Yay.
like
That's like
that one.
I do too. I posted this reel yesterday, I think, or 2 days ago, where I was like punching and stuff. I was listening to that actual song. That wasn't the song on the reel, but that's the background song I had on in my room. That is such a good one for sacred rage. So since we're in this energy of releasing, like listen to that song. Highly recommend it. Let it all out. It's the best. I love that you listen to it and that you like it too. Just I think I like it because I feel like it feels ragey in a spiritual way. Like it doesn't feel like death metal, because like some people like death metal. That's just not my thing. Like
Yeah, no.
not my thing. So that's our little bonus. And I said we'll do a reading if we have time, so I'll just pull a couple quick cards. And yeah, we're pretty much like at the end. I do have like an invitation. I know Deirdre, you're already in the membership with me, but for the people on the replay, I will give you guys an invitation at the end if you want to keep on with this work. I'm going to pull a message from the Divine Feminine Oracle. What are people listening to this most need to know right now? Those just like flew out. Yes. Okay. Oh, there's 4. I think we'll just do this oracle then and not the other one since we have 4. We have Freya, the goddess of discernment. I spend my time wisely. I only say yes when it's a holy hell yes, which is a lot of what we've been talking about. And if you want to be in alignment, only say yes when it's a holy hell yes is like one of the best ways you can do it. That's something I've been working on too, because sometimes we can get into people pleasing, but okay. Then we have Yamaya, the goddess of all that flows. I am an ocean of creative energy. I give birth to what exists within me. So cool, because we talked a lot about that today. So with this card, I'm feeling like we talked about like the feminine energy and flowing and not forcing. So this just feels like a reminder to do that, because when we're forcing and we're not flowing, like have talked about so much today, like things do not work. Like we have to just let go of that control. We have Pope Joan, the pontiff of possibilities. The possibilities are limitless because the soul is limitless. So that just makes me think of what I said in the channeling for success bit, where it's like we want to like go to the man upstairs and the goddesses and angels and all of that, because like they can help us manifest infinite possibilities. Like our logical mind can't do that. So anything is possible. Like maybe that's even a bonus journaling prompt for homework if you feel guided to journal on that. Like, what would you want if you knew that anything was possible? Because it is, like literally. And I'm getting this message too. I've been getting this feeling lately that like most of the people that are drawn to my work are also people that have a big purpose. So that's the message that I'm getting with this card, is like, you have a big purpose. It's time to fucking trust it. Is what I'm hearing. I'm getting chills everywhere. Lastly, we have Kuan Yin, the goddess of compassion. I recognize suffering in order to release it. Curiosity breeds compassion. And she has a butterfly. And that always makes me think of like transformation. And Kuan Yin is such a beautiful goddess that you can actually work with on like self-worth stuff. I don't think I mentioned her today. The message I'm also getting with this card, number 1, is like releasing anything emotionally, like we said, like we've been talking about today, that you need to. Okay, I'm like staring. Sometimes I just stare at the card and space out because there's things coming through and I'm trying to interpret them all. The second card is, I feel like whoever's listening to this, if you're an entrepreneur, like you also are being invited to help other people like out of their suffering. And what was the other one? I recognize suffering in order to release it. So that's kind of like what we've been doing today, is like to look at the blessings and lessons of everything that we're going through. And that really does help you like transmute it and like choose the happiness, like we've talked about. These cards honestly are like repeating pretty much everything we've already talked about today, just as a confirmation, which I say this all the time. My angels and guides are smart asses. They're like, okay, Jess, you already know, like we've already talked about it. So that's a little reading. We've pretty much already done the sisterhood and chat time, but is there anything else you want to share or chat about, Deirdre?
Nope, I think I'm good.
Okay, cool. I'm going to do a little closing prayer, and then after that, I'll give you guys the invitations that we have. Oh, you can stretch if you want to. Closing down the eyes. Just taking a deep breath in and out again, placing a hand on your heart and your belly. Let it out, shake it out, do whatever you need to do. If anybody does the sacred rage thing, by the way, like please feel free to like tag me on Instagram or Facebook or wherever and like tell me about how it went, or just anything that happens after this that you want to share. All right. Our eyes are still closed if you feel comfortable with your eyes closed. All right. We're closing down this circle today. And right now, I'm just giving gratitude for the women the woman Deirdre here on the call with me, and all the beautiful women on the replay listening to this. God, angels, universe, goddesses, higher selves, all of our higher selves. We thank you for being here with us. We thank you for guiding us. Please continue to guide us. Please continue to show up for us. Please continue to guide us in our businesses for those entrepreneurs. Help us to be able to help more people, because so much is going on in the world right now and people need our help now more than ever. So please keep guiding us. Please keep us safe on our paths. And please deliver to our lives, everyone listening to this, miracles and breakthroughs and finances, love, business, relationships, every area of life, our home lives, our careers. Help us make our biggest dreams manifest. Help us to believe in ourselves. Help us to stop doubting ourselves. Help us to step into our full power. And we're claiming that to be true. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. The circle is closed. Okay. I don't know what just happened. I was just getting a lot of messages. They're just coming through. Okay. So our little closing invitations. I'll have the recording for this for those that aren't in the membership. This will be up on my website. For those in my Goddess Power portal, this will be in our usual place where all of our recordings are. It may be on my podcast and YouTube soon. I'll see what happens. I'm not that focused on podcast and YouTube right now, but anyways, that doesn't really matter. I do have a lot of freebies though. If you want to continue more of this work, I have my podcast, The Wild Feminine Way, like I talked about. On my YouTube, I've been on YouTube for years. So I have all kinds of meditations, classes and circles, teachings on things like manifestation, divine feminine. I have readings up there. I have all kinds of things up there. So you can hang out with me there. I also hang out on Instagram pretty much most often. I really only use Facebook for like my business groups and Messenger. So hang out with me there. And is this my final closing invitation? It is. Okay. So if you're a woman who knows that you're made for big things, if you want to step into your full power, all the things that we've talked about today, then I'm inviting you to the community we've talked about throughout this call, the Goddess Power Portal. Our next call, super excited, that's actually next week. So I'll get to see you again next week, Deirdre. We're talking about magnetic feminine power, and I'm going to be talking about teaching, a lot of my stuff and some new stuff that I'm learning about working with your higher self and highest timeline. I did just add a new all access track for entrepreneurs. So you get access to all my business courses, all of that. You can see on my website. I will include the link for that with this recording. I was trying to think about where I was putting the recording. And there's also a regular all access track for just manifestation and divine feminine courses. Deirdre, you already have everything because you signed up with like the founding price. This is just for new people. So yeah, that is like my favorite place to hang out now. That's like one of my main 2 offerings that I have. If you want to continue, I would love to have you. And then I'm also starting something called Rebirth and Rising sessions. So it's a lot about the things that we talked about today, like rebirthing and rising into your new timeline. So I'm going to be doing one-on-one sessions as well. I just said that. So that's up on my website, the individual sessions. I do have 3-month transformation packages for this as well. So just reach out if you want to talk about that. There's like a little application I can send you. And then I have 2 self-paced courses if you prefer to work with me that way, Abundant Goddess and Divine Feminine. So all those are on my website. That will be linked. I'll just say below because it'll be with the recording. And then the pricing on the first 2 things, my community and the one-on-ones, will be going up on the 10th, which is I think Wednesday at midnight. Deirdre, you're already locked in. Your price stays the same because you signed up when we started. But for anyone that wants to join now, you can still get the price point that it's at now because they're really low price points until Wednesday the 10th at midnight. So that's what I got, my loves. We went for like an hour and 40 minutes and I was like, oh, I'll for sure fit this into an hour today. But we did it. Yay. My throat chakra needs a break. Do you want to share anything or ask anything before we go, beautiful Deirdre?
No, today was great.
Yeah, I'm so glad. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all of you on the replay. Reach out if you have any questions about anything we talked about here today or any of the ways to work with me. I love you all. And I'm excited to see what everyone manifests for 2026. And just want to say this again, closing reminder, whatever you're going through, it is for a reason. And I really hope this helped you. All right, my love, I'm going to end this here. I love you. And this recording will be up on the website and in the community space as well. Bye, loves.